Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Kizomba. Tonight, we're going to be debating or talking, having a discussion about the differences between Palop culture and the club scene to do with Kizomba. So, Gario, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Kizomba. This is the Kizomba Community Talk Show coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube. This is the show for the dancers, teachers, DJs, promoters, and organizers to share, discuss, debate, and of course, talk about current topics. Our show aims to raise awareness in the dance community of all the hot topics. No topic is too taboo. We will talk about every topic, every subject with no exception. You're all encouraged to submit your questions and join in the fun and make loads of comments so we can involve you in the show. It's more than a conversation. As we always say, it's your dance, your opinion, your show. Just before we get started and meet the panel and the other hosts, we'd just like to say, please be aware of other listeners and watchers on the show. Please be wary of their comments. Everyone is entitled to their comments and their opinions, so please don't shut them down. We're happy for you to discuss in the chat about all the topics we're talking about and talk amongst each other, but please be careful in what you're saying. Right, now we are going to meet our next host. It's the man, Super Dixon. Super Dixon, welcome. Introduce yourself to the watchers and listeners.
You're
How
on
you doing,
mute.
mi gente? How you doing? How you doing? Yes, Super Dixon's back here. This is the part where I introduce myself again.
Yes. Welcome,
Yes,
Dixon.
here
Welcome.
we go one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Talk Kizomba podcast. I'm happy to be here. I'm one of the hosts, Super Dixon. I am, oh my God, I am a dance instructor, DJ, and event organizer in the UK for almost nearly 14 years. I'm a Palop, born in Mozambique, grew up in Portugal, embedded for most of my life, for 30 years, 35 years embedded in Palop culture, from Angolan to Cape Verdean to Guinea-Bissau, obviously Mozambique, where I'm from, and São Tomé and Prince. And I'm happy to be part of this show, given my to my best of my ability, cultural perspectives in order to help educate everybody about Kizomba culture. Yes.
Well, that is sure a welcome. Thank you, sir. And along with Dixon, we have a wonderful panel. Tonight, the panel consists of two experienced dancers from the Kizomba and Salsa world. May we introduce Sonia and Petronia. So let's go first to Sonia. Welcome, Sonia. Can you please, as we have different listeners and watchers every week and viewers, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers?
Good evening, everyone. I hope you've had a good Monday. My name's Sonia, and as Gary said, I'm an experienced dancer of more than 12 years of both salsa and kizomba. I'm heritage, Jamaican heritage, but I have embraced the Palop culture and dance.
Thank you, Sonia. And next, we welcome our other panel member for tonight, Petronia.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Petronia. Very similar to Sonia. I come from a Jamaican background. I've been dancing salsa for, 20 odd years. Kizomba, a bit less, for say about the 12 years as well. Love the culture, love both the Latin and the Palop culture, but really into Kizomba at the moment. And just here to give my perspective on what I enjoy about Kizomba, basically.
Good. Thank you very much. And I'm Gary O, as you girls have been saying, Jamaican heritage also. So we've got a bit of a team here. And unfortunately tonight, our other panel member, Winston, who's also Jamaican, has got caught in France for a festival, so he won't be joining us. But as we said, we will be carrying on and bringing you the best in this subject tonight, which is Kizomba, family culture, Palop culture, and of course, Kizomba club culture. So we're going to start and we're going to go to one of our hosts, Super Dixon. In short, Super Dixon, can you just tell us what you understand to be Kizomba family stroke Palop culture? In short, not too much detail, just an overview of what you believe that to be.
Right. Before we do, I mean, Andrea, you forgot to introduce yourself, didn't you?
I'm so
We'll
busy
let you
managing.
introduce yourself.
I'm so busy managing all the little bits and pieces. I totally forgot. Yeah, my name's Andrea. I've
Let's do
been
it quickly so
dancing.
I can do that. Yeah.
I've been dancing since about 2007, 2008. Started with salsa, then kizomba. My heritage is a mixed heritage, so my DNA goes back to Angola. Thanks, Dixon. But I've been to Angola, and I embrace the Kizomba culture. I'm trying to spread the word about the culture, get people to, sort of understand the differences there may be, and just enjoy dancing. So yeah, over to you, Dixon.
Right. Let's make it count one more time. Yes, everybody introduced. So, yeah. So, Gario, repeating the question about I will try to keep it short. Yeah. Uh, but regarding Kizomba family culture. So, everybody at some point when they dance Kizomba, everybody, especially if you learn from a Palop dance instructor, they will always say Kizomba is a family dance, right? And by saying family dance, it means that it's a dance that you can dance with your mom, with your auntie, with your grandma, with your uncle, with your cousins. Do you know what I mean? Everybody can dance together, which means on opposed with everybody who thinks that kizomba is a sexual, sensual dance, right? uh, we often say no, it's a family dance, so it means it's for all of us. We can dance with everybody. So um, I think that there's always people questioning this connotation that we always give to kizomba, and that we also give, for example, to funana, coladera, salsa, bachata, that also has a family connotation in dance. And I guess that we will try to understand where is the difference between that and the Kizomba culture that we all have. And I guess that's my short for now. I hope you're happy with that, Gario.
I'm happy with that, Dixon. And I think the key statement in here, it's a family dance. So where it's the origination point, it's a family dance. We will come back to that, but we must understand it's a family dance. Andrea, we know you have Angolan blood somewhere. So would you like to give us your overview of what you believe is Kizomba family stroke Palop culture?
I can't give a comment about Palop culture. What I can do is just express what I've been taught. I was taught to dance by Angolans from the Palop community mainly, and they would always say it's an intergenerational dance. You dance it like Dixon said, with your mother, your father, your aunts, your uncles, your brother, your sister. You have a party, um, maybe a barbecue in the backyard, and you hear a song you like, you get up and dance. So it wasn't necessarily that people go out to dance, which is what I think the club culture is now. People will expect everybody who goes to the club to dance. I get that the people who go out from the palop culture go out to meet their friends, socialise. They hear a song they like, they'll get up and dance. And that's, I think sometimes there's a little bit of misunderstanding why are all those guys standing at the bar not dancing, because they're out here seeing their friends. So they haven't come out to dance. That's not why they've come out. They've come out to meet their friends they haven't seen all week or for a couple of weeks. And if they hear a song they like, they'll grab somebody and go and dance. So for me, I respect that and I understand that. So I don't go out to dance 20 dances in a night. If I have a dance to a song, especially that I like, I'm quite happy. But it's trying to get people to understand that maybe that there is a difference between, especially if you're from a salsa background, because it used to be you went out to get as many dances as you could a night, and everybody danced a lot in salsa. And there's just a difference, and it's maybe just understanding that difference. So I mean, most people know me. I run an event once a month, and I lead. The majority of times women come up to me and I lead most of the time, because there aren't enough men out there dancing maybe. But I go out to dance. I go out to have, see my friends that I don't live in London, so I travel up to various events to dance, to meet people, have a chat. And if I do dance, fantastic. Does that answer your question, Gary?
I think that's a really comprehensive overview, Andrea. I'm liking it, and
Thank
the
you.
more we're thinking about it, the more it becomes more interesting. The more the opposition of the Kizomba club culture, the culture club, is now starting to take shape just from those two overviews. What I want to do, I want to bring our panel in on this. They might not have a palop culture background, but we would just like to get their view on what they believe from dancing Kizomba for many years, what they've learnt from our glorious teachers in the UK about the palop culture, about the family culture. We've got some great teachers with palop connections, born in the palop countries. So, Petronia, let's start with you. What have you learned, and what has that given you knowledge-wise, so that you can give us an overview on your thoughts?
Okay, yeah, we have some great teachers, and whilst they're teaching, they will impart the fact that it's a family dance and it comes from this kind of roots and that sort of thing. That's great. But my perspective is, as Andrea had mentioned earlier on, I come from a club culture, and that's how I approached it. It was only after having danced for a while that I realized it was a family dance, and that came through. But not being palop, not coming from that sort of background, I really enjoyed the idea of dancing, as you'd said, all night. We're coming out there. It's a club night. It's a dance, coming out there to enjoy yourself. And the teachers will impart that upon you verbally and while they're teaching. But because I don't essentially come from that culture, I didn't view it in that way. And I can embrace it now, the idea of it. But as Andrea had said, for example, seeing people coming out to the club or the bar, standing at the bar, I would sort of sometimes I'd think, what are they here for? And then you realize, yes, they are just coming out to see their friends, because I come from a completely different perspective and I want to dance, not all night, but quite a lot of the time. It took me a while to learn to relax and just to enjoy the music for a while, and then just dance for some period of the time. My perspective was to dance all the time because I wanted to go out there and I perceived that to be a good time, mainly because I don't have that background of it being a family dance. But I embrace it. I can hear it. I see it. And I like the idea of that. But it's not something I knew anything about until I was in the scene for a while. If that answers the question.
Okay, straight over to Sonia. Sonia, again, similar to Petronia, your overview from what you've learned numerous years in dancing Kizomba, even salsa. Give us your overview of, in this case, the Kizomba family stroke palop culture. Maybe you're on mute, Sonia.
Sorry. Yeah, when I first learnt to dance Kizomba, one of the things that was first taught was about the Palop culture, the Kizomba culture, that it was a family dance, aunties, sisters, as Dixon has already said. And then further down the line, I did a couple of musicality lessons at festivals where that idea was reinforced. And my aim is to dance as much as possible. And yes, my observation of the Palops is that they mainly come to drink, see their friends, have a good time. And it doesn't really bother them if they don't dance. Yes, they might dance. They might ask someone to dance if they hear a tune that they like. And like Petronia, you basically learn to accept that that's their culture. And I'm not the sort of person to go and ask them to dance anyway, because I know that they're a closed unit, if you like, a closed circle. If you go to clubs that are predominantly Palop, it's very rare that you get asked to dance anyway. So I accept that. And it's just something that you get used to. I'm one of those that I'm happy if I dance all night, basically. But that's not always going to happen, and I accept that. I'm not sure if that answered the question either.
Guys, this is really good start. Yeah, no, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. And it's really interesting from your angle, panel, that obviously from a situation, and to some extent, Andrew as well, where your teachers have imparted their knowledge, their Kizomba background, and tried to educate you. And I'm not so sure if this is happening as much now. We will get to that with Andrea and Super Dixon in a while. But what I want to do, of course, we have club culture. We're going to come to that in a short while. But what I want to do now is move on and ask Dixon. Dixon, who does family culture apply to? Are we looking at just those from the Palop nation, or should it be applied to Andrea, Petronia, Sonia, and the Western dance community? What's your view on that? Who does it
So
apply to?
applies for everyone. I think I said before in one of the shows, and I said this before again. When you go to a Kizomba party, I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. Um, Kizomba culture, it's when I could say Kizomba or African culture or even Jamaican culture is like that. We get together, we're listening to music, we have food, we dance, we drink, we don't dance because a lot of people it's like assume because you're from the culture you can dance. It's like it's almost like imagine everybody in Angola dances kizomba. Every Chinese person does kung fu. No, but when we get together, what I mean, everybody will do something. Imagine if I'm hosting a party in the backyard or something like that. I will invite, for example, I know Andrea, I know Pishonia, I know Sonia, and I know Gario, and I say, yo, my mom is doing a cook at the house. Why don't you guys come along and have a and join us? I invite you, and it's the same thing. I invite you to my house. You arrive and you see obviously a mix of everything: food, people dancing, people eating. Again, a mix. So if you invite you to my house, you are more than welcome to enjoy yourself. And have a good time. And imagine if you didn't dance kizomba, you never learned kizomba before. When you see the people dancing and then someone comes and, oh, do you want to dance? And you, oh, okay. And you dance. It's not about tricks. It's not about perfection. It's about having a good time with people together. It's not about having a good time. Hey, how you doing? You understand?
What are you suggesting, Dixon? What are you suggesting, young man?
What I'm suggesting is that the culture, the Kizomba culture, like I said, and the thing is, I must say this because again, I was born in Mozambique. I grew up in Portugal. You know, I had the luck since my 7 years old when I moved to my hometown. You know, my Angolans were my neighbors, above neighbors were Angolan. So every Sunday, you know, after church, they will put the music on. The wife start cooking. They go and invite us to go up to downstairs. Come upstairs. We're cooking. Come and party. Kizomba, Semba music in this case, not Kizomba. Semba music, Angolan music, Semba, Kuduru, even other genres from Funana and other genres would be playing in the cassettes. Do you know what I mean? We weren't Angolan. We were welcome into their house to have food and to have fun and whatnot, you know? Now, growing up, when you go to the club, that's not the same, it's not the same environment. It's a different environment. Makes sense, Gario? It's an
It
environment
does.
where you might be there with your family, you might be there with your cousins, you might be there with everybody, but most of these parties in the club, there's no food, you know? Well, let me say this nicely. There is food. But it's not the food that you're thinking it is. Oh my God. Makes sense what I said? Everybody's invited to the party. So when we tried to bring the party here in the UK, we tried to organize a party as obviously close to what we can of Kizomba culture, right? But have you noticed that how many promoters try to promote Kizomba with food and dance like it should be, and normally the British or the even the people that come from a different culture, not everybody appreciates the food in the event and all that, and most people don't turn up to that event. That's why it's not popular. Make sense,
Hmm.
Gario?
So, with everything you're saying, it applies, according to you, it applies to everyone. It applies to Petronia and Sonia, myself. Family culture applies, yeah? Once we immerse ourselves into this dance, let's say this
Yeah.
dance, we should take on some of this culture to fully experience the whole thing, yeah? This is what you're thinking, yeah? For my question.
I I firmly believe that the right. I think this is how it goes. If the format that it was done in Portugal by the different Palop countries. Do you know what I mean? Where I grew up going to someone from Guinea-Bissau. I'm listening to music from Guinea-Bissau, food from Guinea-Bissau. I'm going to a Cape Verdean house. You have that different type of music, different type of food, right? And I think, for example, if that was being applied here in the UK, you would have seen maybe more people interested in the culture itself. But you see that a lot of people been dancing salsa for a long many years, 10,000 years, and then only in the last decade, kizomba. I'm not sure. And we're talking about Jamaicans coming from a Caribbean culture. That seems like something that my parents told me not to do. And
Mm.
that's where you entered the club culture.
And we're not
I'm
going there
sure
yet,
the
Dixon, but
ladies I'm sure the ladies, if the Kizomba family culture with food, like I explained, like you guys have for sure in Jamaican culture the same thing. And I think the perception, if that was being sold, everybody would be more welcomed or feel more comfortable to join. What do you ladies think? What do you think, Ariel, about that?
no, I agree with you. And I think we just need to separate because, again, this point comes across in all our shows. What are people really going to Kizomba for? When we say Kizomba, we mean a Kizomba based event. So what are people going for? So some people just go to let off steam after work. They want to meet a friend. There's so many things, and we're going to come to that. So for me, it really depends on what people are going for. So the crowd is so vast now, so many different reasons for someone to go. When we started, it was more, we heard, we identified with it. I'm sure Sonia, Petronia, even Winston, we all identified it's something close to us. Being from Jamaica, it's something close. So we kind of identified to a point. So we were more inclined to tap into the culture. And I mean, I don't want to go on too much. I want to go to Andrea. Andrea, does it apply to all of us? I know you're very big on incorporating many facets of the palop culture. So does it apply to me, Petronia, Sonia, Winston, and the other parts of the community?
How do you mean applies, Gary O? You have to be a bit more specific. My thought is that whatever I do, if I do something that comes from another culture, I have to respect that culture. You know, I've lived in the Middle East, I've lived, you know, in other parts of the world. So I may not take on everything that that culture has, but I will respect that culture. So what clarify what you mean, does that apply?
I mean,
Is it,
so okay, this is more for Dixon, I guess. Someone, do you believe when we come into the dance that we should do you think it applies? We should immerse ourselves into the culture itself. Do you? It's your opinion. Do we? You know, should we be doing Festa de Quintal or you know standing at the bar for an hour just talking to mates? Should we be sampling all of the culture, or is that not your belief? That's as specific as I can get. I think
okay, well my
it's
my
your
thought
opinion.
is everybody comes out to dance, like you said, for a different reason. You know, blow off steam from work, meet their friends. It's their night. They're responsible for their nights, their entertainment, but not everybody comes out for those reasons. And I've heard various things. You know, I'm not interested in the culture. I just like the music. I can't be bothered to learn about the culture. I just want to dance. So I have to respect that person's view. I'll still give across my um, knowledge that I have about the culture and what I've learned from, you know, sort of various teachers over the years. So everybody comes out for a different. It's about respecting the fact that it is somebody else's culture that we're entering, and that we we just need to respect it. So it's about understanding. I totally get people come out and they just want to have a dance and they just want to enjoy themselves. Um, but for me, I think that's a bit short-sighted. I like to know everything about anything that I do so that I can respect. You know, when I went to Angola, I read up about it. I made sure that wasn't going to do anything that might offend somebody. And I could manage to come back. So yeah, but that's no, there were policemen at the airport with rifles and guns. Didn't think I was coming home. But yeah, so it's about what do people want to get from dancing? If you just want to come out and have a good night, then no, but don't impose your views on, don't expect that culture that you're entering to fit around you. Why should they? It's their culture. Why should they change it to fit us, non-palops?
Yeah, I think that's a fair view, Andrea. You know, and I know we normally attack some of the comments in the second half of the show, but we can take a couple of these now because they are they are concerned with what we've started with. So Carlita, our friend Carlita said, so is Tarashinya a family dance? Well, I think Dixon answered that earlier on. That could be a no, but it could be off body. Is Tarashina off body? Can it be off body? Dixon, you might just want to quickly jump in, not too much. Is it a family dance? Quickly.
So on the off, Carlita, that's a good one. On the off, I explained, and that's why I mentioned early, and I mentioned different palop dances, like again samba, coladera, even coladera. Pay attention, even coladera. But pasada, funana, even marrabenta, family dances, tarraxinha, gerozuk. I can even say compa, zouk, love. It's club culture. It's not
Club culture.
Kizomba family culture because it's very simple to say. I would never dance tarraxinha with my mom.
Not Dixon, can I ask you, not even off body? You know, where people are kind of simulating the move but not doing the move, you know?
Bro, so let me be clear.
Yeah. For our viewers and listeners.
Before everybody, so in Kizomba culture, let's say Kizomba club culture, let's say, or even the family culture, because on this part there's a thin new line here that it's like, imagine I can gather with my cousins before, my friends before we hit the club, you know, and we can be having dinner, drinks, getting ready to hit the club, and we listen to Tarraxinha, Afro House, all that thing just to hype us up before we go out, right? Even when we listen to Tarraxinha, we're there like, we're singing, we might be, but it's not very common to do that, maybe people can just joke about with the, oh yeah, look at this Tarraxinha, yeah, this is what I'm going to do later.
Yeah, I got you.
What you going to do later? You understand? So
Yep.
again, it's a different it's a totally different reason. Tarraxinha, again, which is part of the culture, it's part of Angolan culture even. You know what I mean? But it's something that that it's like it's Tarraxinha. It's in the club. Is what we say. It's the lovers' dance, or someone you fancy, or someone that you just met that that's in the club.
Okay.
Is the same.
So
Is the same thing as is the same thing as like I would say Jamaican culture with if you play some bashment uh, or some even soca, and you may do one thing at home, but you may not do it in a club.
got you.
Some people still would do it in a club. Oh, no, the thing is, you probably would whine. You wouldn't whine in front of your family, but if you're in a club without your family there, you would whine.
Club culture.
Club culture.
Right.
Yeah.
So Carlita, you got your answer. It's a big fat no. It's not a family dance. And quickly before we get to our panel and Andrea, I want to just do a couple of more of the comments. And I was talking about having a party at Dixon's. Dixon's going to be making the food. Dorothy, she's saying, me personally, if the dance is in the afternoon, then food is welcome. But at night after 9:40, and in an enclosed environment, I don't agree with the presence of food, mainly because many are trying to live this no food after 6 p.m. style of life. Interesting. So people are watching what they eat and at what time. Anna saying the culture should apply to everyone, but not everyone has the same approach to the culture and to live it in full. That's a good point, Anna. Thank you. And we'll just have one more. Dorothy again. Let the Palops party the way they please, and let those of us who see the dance floor as a gym to enjoy the same right. Yeah. Well, that's coming from Dorothy. She's saying let everyone be. If they want to Tarraxinha in the clubs and do their thing, if they want to sit and drink, if they want to talk to their mates, it's up to them. You do you, and we'll do we. Petronia.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
Before Dixon will come back to you, Petronia.
Yeah, I was listening to that and thinking, as you say, you're talking about the culture, and what your culture you would bring from your own culture, for example. In Jamaican culture, when we go to the dance, and we'll do Lovers Rock. Now, Lovers Rock is definitely a Jamaican cultural dance, part of the culture. Now, yeah, you wouldn't necessarily do that at home.
Rub-a-dub, rub-a-dub.
Exactly. But that's part of the culture that we like. But you wouldn't do it in front of your parents and whatever. But yeah, come the club, come the party, even the house party, you'll be doing Lovers Rock and Rubber Dub. And Tarashina is equates with that. Stop looking like that, Dixon. But it's the same thing. And I know a lot of guys who I know who are not Palop. They've come along into Kizomba and they can equate that with that, you know, and they will bring that part of their Caribbean culture, because obviously Lovers Rock is not just Jamaican, it'll be everywhere, and they'll want to incorporate it, and they'll find a way of incorporating that in Kizomba, which is what they like about that, which would be the Tarajina and the Ghetto Zouk and all the rest of it. So that really popularizes that, but it is still a culture from another culture. That's what you'll bring into it. So it's because in terms of us dancing in the club, it's sensualized, it's sexualized, and that's what some people like. So that's
So,
the take on it.
so quickly, Petronia, do you believe, in your eyes, I mean, we've had Dorothy saying, let people be. Andrea saying something different. Do you believe that we should apply the culture as much as possible to those that come into the dance? Because it's not just about the dance, it's about the whole thing. Yeah. And
Yes.
it's important for me because I think people don't understand. So, you know, I've been there at the bar talking to some of the guys, some are Portuguese, some are African, Palop, and you get a woman coming up to you saying she wants to dance now, not later, now. And you're thinking, well, hold on a minute, I'm just having a drink with the boys. So part of this education would be, you know, that the guys are socializing, they're having a drink, you know, you'd have to kind of wait, and maybe this importation of the culture will help people understand the whole thing better. So do you
Yes.
think it should be applied in that?
I think it should be applied, but as we've said, not everyone will take that on board. It should be applied, but using your example of someone coming up and asking you to want to dance is because they're feeling that music, they're feeling they want to dance now, and they may disregard or put aside the fact that that person is at the bar relaxing and chilling with their friends. So you've got both sides. But yes, I think on some level you do want to impart the culture, and people will pick up that aspect of the culture, the Palop's culture, as they go along. They may not always want to apply it for themselves. They may not always want to accept it. They may want to dance now because I can see why. But yes, not impose it, but impart it so that people can take what they want from it. So
Yeah,
both sides, you have to accept both sides of the coin, as Andrea had pointed out. You know, respect that
I have
people
to,
come in.
yeah, I have to agree about the Lovers Rock Tarashinia. It's our version, and you know, it's something we like to do. Although we get our hands and the knuckles wrapped and hands slapped for, you know, but for us it's normal. I always see Andrew out the corner of my eye looking at me. You know, that auntie look, Dixon, that auntie look. She's looking at me. She's thinking, this guy's rubbing hard. What's he doing? What's he doing? You know, but for me, it's just,
Gary,
yeah.
you are not that important that I need to watch you.
Andrea. Wow. Andrea. I see you at the
Gary,
corner of my eye.
You just been slapped, bro.
It's an auntie slap. It's an auntie
not
slap.
at all. Not at all. You're an adult. You do what you like, Gary. I think
Yeah. So
part. Did you have that on hand, Dixon?
yeah, the auntie
Yeah.
slap.
Hey, I'm an
Yeah.
uncle, you know.
I think that part of the thing is that no matter how much teachers can try to impart this knowledge, if people don't come to the lessons, they're not going to hear it. So they're going to come. I know that I have a lot of friends who are Palops, and they say, "Oh no, it's that woman," meaning there are several women out there, lovely women, but they will go and pounce on the men. The guys want to feel that they're asking the ladies to dance, and they don't necessarily want to dance every dance that comes on, because they don't. A lot of the palops will dance only to the songs that they like, that they have, that has a meaning to them, that they can vibe with. Because I remember I had a friend. Well, I still have a friend. He's a very good friend of mine, and I went and asked him to dance when I was quite new to the scene, and he was talking to a friend, and I waited till there was a gap in the conversation. But he afterwards said, "Don't you ever come up and interrupt me when I'm talking to somebody?" And I was sort of like, "Whoa." But we had a chat about it, and he said, "I'm talking to my friend. I've come to see my friend. If I hear a song I like, I'll come and find you." So that was sort of, a growing concern, learning curve for me. Dorothy's asking, should women be asking men to dance? Me personally, unless I know the man and and we're friends, I wouldn't ask a man to dance. That's a generational thing with me. That I come from a generation of dancers that waited for men to ask you. I know that young girls nowadays don't. They go up and they grab the man and they ask them to dance. I think again that's a personal choice, but no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't go up to um, a man that I didn't know who was a palop and ask, because I don't know who he's with. He might be with his girlfriend, he might be with his wife, he might have somebody watching who's going to report back to his girlfriend or his wife. So no, I would, me personally, unless I know the person, I don't ask to dance.
Thank you, Andrea. And we're going to have this little section here before we go to a lovely song played by Andrea. So we've got a little section where we're going to fly through, we're going to answer questions, we're going to look at the messages, and we're going to fly through this. Sonia, I know we needed to come to you. So, in your eyes, should we implement the culture alongside us just dancing?
Knowledge is key, really. If people haven't learned when they started to learn the dance, what the culture is, what are the do's and the don'ts, then there's no harm in imparting a little knowledge along the way. So what I found quite enlightening is a pre-chat that I had with Andrea. Now, personally, I would never go up to somebody who's deep in conversation, especially if I know that they're palops, because I know that generally they don't like to be asked by women to dance. So a bit like Andrew, it's a generation thing. Not that I haven't done it, I have done it, but I'm very careful who I approach. If I think that they wouldn't turn me down, then I'll ask. But generally, I don't. I just wanted to comment about food at Caribbean parties. I have never been to a Caribbean party where there's not been food. It's just a cultural thing, yeah. But I do take the point that Dorothea has made about so many people now are fasting, or they won't eat after a certain time. So I think it's going to be difficult to make sure that there's food available at Kizomba events. Some people, obviously, depending on their culture, will welcome it, but I think a lot of people won't eat. I certainly wouldn't eat after 8 o'clock anyway.
Yeah, interesting. And is there anything to do with the smell of the food? Could that have an impact on Dorothy's statement?
Do you want me to answer that? No, not for me. I just don't want to dance on a full stomach, basically. And for the same reason, I don't drink. I might have one drink, so and that's from salsa. You can't drink and dance salsa, so. Andrea's laughing.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Sonia, thank you very much. I just want to go to some of the comments that before we go to our break. Anna's saying, I feel that I am a Palop and treated as equal when I am in a Palop party. Yeah, that's interesting. I think it helps that you're Portuguese or whatever. You know, I don't think it happens to everyone, but we'll come to that because there's been many examples of not feeling welcome. But it's interesting and good for you, Anna. And she's also said it's not about my skin color or where I was born. Interestingly, after what I've just said, it's about my vibe that matches with the culture. Yes, that's also true. Um, you know, people think Andrea's Angolan. You know, I've been passed as Portuguese. I'm sure Sonia and Petronia as well. So look, that's quite interesting. Carlita is saying, how can Tarashina be off body? We've got a Tarashina expert here in Carlita. She says, I'm Cuban and people think Cuban salsa is a sexual kind of dance. But when you look at Tarashina, so she's saying, compared to Cuban, wow. Anyway, Dot says, I would not even kiss my mum in front of parents. Kiss my what? My mum in front of my parents as much as Tarashina. I think Tarashini's taking a hit tonight, guys. Yeah, so again, we've had should women ask men to dance? Petroni, do you want to just come in on that one? Andrew's already answered. What about you? Petroni, are you with us? Maybe on the mute.
Sorry, I was saying sorry. In terms of what the Tarashina?
No, sorry. Like Dot said, I mean, Andrew's already given her view. Should women be asking men to dance as in
Oh,
part
right.
of this
Yeah,
culture
sure.
thing?
I made a note of that. Yeah, you're right. Because I originally came into the culture wanting to dance as much as possible, and then had to learn that, yeah, that's right. Let's just tone it down and enjoy the music. Over a bit of time, I enjoyed that. I would never ask a Palop. I do ask guys to dance, but generally it's because I know those guys. We are a bit of a Kizomba family as such. So for me, there's a slight difference. If they've asked me to dance before in a lesson environment or in a previous event, and I've gotten to know that person, I'm quite happy to strike up a conversation and I'll ask them to dance. So over a period of time, I'm very comfortable with those people, and I enjoy that kind of dancing. But in terms of asking a Palop, especially if they're talking to someone, as Andrea and Sonia have both said, I'm wary that they do prefer to dance, asked to dance themselves, and I wait until I'm asked to dance. And oftentimes I'll be dancing with them. They say, "Oh, you dance really well," or they'll make some sort of comment. "Oh, I thought you were from so and so. Are you Portuguese?" And that, and that's quite nice. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes I feel you get the impression that they're asking you to dance, expecting you not to be able to dance, and then when you can dance, it's a bit of a surprise. You may never see them again. They may never dance with me again, but and they may just be being polite. I don't know, but it's a different perspective, and I like that. But I would never ask them to dance generally because of the knowledge that you could be stepping on toes, and they
Sonia,
are there to dance for a while.
Sonia, I know you're itching. Tell us.
Well, no, Petronia's right. They always seem so surprised when they find that you can dance. And I've often been asked if I'm a Palop. I don't look like one, but I've been asked if I am because I can dance that well. Pat, pat, pat. But I always feel that, especially if I'm turned down for a dance, it's their loss because they don't know what they're missing.
Go on, Sonia.
Yeah, no.
Go
Yeah,
on.
so I try not to get too upset because rejection is not nice. Nobody likes to be rejected. But I know in the Palop community, we're talking about Palop family, that, as I said previously, when you go to an event or a club that's predominantly Palop, you won't get asked to dance. And I accept that, but I just think it's a shame because I can dance, but they'll never know.
Sonia, this is
Did you know?
interesting. And some of the things.
Did you
Sorry,
know that?
Dixon.
Did
Before
you
you
know
carry.
that? I was gonna say. I just want to say to the ladies again, the generational situation. I totally respect that. I have to teach in every class every time I go, no matter how many times I go to that same city, different country, whatever. I always encourage the ladies to invite the gents to dance. Okay? But I also encourage the ladies to observe who before they invited certain determined men to the dance because you don't know who these people are. Another part that a lot of people forget, and Andrea kind of mentioned that briefly, is that in Kizomba, especially Kizomba club culture, we don't dance with people we don't know. And that's a little key factor that a lot of people don't understand. I go to the club with my friends. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, being a dance teacher puts me in a different position. But if I go to a place where nobody knows me, and a lady comes and asks me to dance, because I'm very educated, I would say yes. But my friend on the side, he might say no because he simply doesn't know the person. And he doesn't know they sometimes it's like in our culture the guys don't know, they might not even be feeling comfortable because they're not great dancers themselves. They may not be and imagine if I go out with my friends, they all say, oh, go dance with him, he's the professional. So they discard themselves straight away and they tell it, go dance with this guy because he dances good. They don't dance good. Play tarraxinha, play ghetto zouk, play compa or zouk. You want to dance, they're going to be checking you out, and then hey. But it's true that there's a little toxicity. There's a little toxicity in the dance scene, in the club scene, where some of these guys they will look at you. Nah, I don't want to dance with you, and that's the part that I personally dislike. I personally dislike that. I think it's disrespectful because obviously in the Kizomba event, in the dance scene that we are creating, it's supposed to be something for everybody to bring the family part of the culture and be polite and be educated and dance with someone who just asks you to dance. Doesn't matter how old that person may be. Make sense? But I agree with Sonia said. It's their loss because you ladies know how to dance really well. And you probably better dance with some of the young girls that can't even do two-step.
Okay, we've got some input there from Dixon. We're 1 minute away from our song break. Just before we go to that, Petronia and Sonia, very interesting. Some of these palops think you're palop. It's very interesting. Probably from the dance, probably you've got the vibe. Caribbean vibe is very similar. And I've been asked the same. I know there's about 3 guys that's spoken to me Portuguese for 12 years, and they still don't know I'm Portuguese. It's amazing. So, yeah, it's very good that you have the palette vibe, and you probably taken on part of the culture and the values. So that is why I believe it's important that the culture is put to our dancers. Um, Comments, Georgia, Kathleen, Moira, Carlita, Anna, keep your comments coming. It's really good tonight. Dixon's on hand to reply. Just before the song break, Georgia, being a white woman in beginning, Palops would not ask me to dance. That changed after they watched me. And she says she likes dancing with people she doesn't know. That's how I learn and broaden my Kizomba flavor. Thank you, Georgia. Keep your comments coming. Keep your opinions coming. And one more before the song break. Anna, once they see you dancing, they will invite. And I think that's a fair point. But that only applies to maybe the dancers that are good or the ones that show off their skills. The ones with less ability might not feel they will get asked to dance after they've been watched. Anyway, we will come back to that after our song break. And that's over to you, Andrea. What we got?
This is my favourite song of the moment, Anna Joyce, Puro. if I put this on.
O Senhor que me tem, que me quer como eu sou completamente. Cada vez em meus braços me enterro outra vez, na certeza que o hoje é para sempre. Por toda a vida eu procurei quem fosse meu, me amasse sem medida, lado a lado, por toda a minha vida, meu amigo, eterno namorado. E brilha, graças a Deus a nossa vida brilha, altos e baixos, mas temos uma família. E eu só tenho a agradecer. Nosso amor, nosso amor, nosso amor é puro, é puro. Nosso amor, nosso amor, nosso amor puro, puro. Eu sou amada e segura. Trocamos beijos e jurar. Pro bem, pro mal, dissemos sim até o infinito. Eu sou tua, de corpo e alma, juro que eu sou tua. Uma vida de bênçãos, aleluia. Nada vai separar. E brilha, graças a Deus a nossa vida brilha, altos e baixos, mas temos uma família. É só agradecer, só agradecer. Nosso amor é puro, é puro. Nosso amor é puro, é puro. Nosso amor.
And we're back. Some more discussion, some more comments. Palop culture.
Okay, guys, that was a lovely song from Andrea. And a quick recap, it's Kizomba family Palop culture. We could say against Kizomba club culture, which is coming up. So traditionally, the second part of the show, lots of comments come through, and we will be concentrating on you, the community, making comments and giving us your opinions. And we'd just like to say to those that have just joined us, this is Kizomba family Palop culture against club culture. So we've been talking about the culture itself, whether we should apply it to dancers that join the scene, and you know, answering questions like, do we ask Palops to dance? Do we interrupt their conversations with their friends? Just before we move on, I want to just finish the comments. Anna's saying, I always say yes to everyone, even if will only be once. George is saying she doesn't like to dance when someone's drunk. That's a fair point, Georgia. It's dangerous. Another loving with Andrea here. Kathleen said she loves that song. Andrea, thank you. Yeah, so
They wouldn't
so
complain if the
guys,
guy is drunk, but he can dance really well, right?
well, it's her opinion, Dixon. It's her opinion. It could, the dancer might dance well when he's drunk. He might dance better. A lot of people dance better when they're drunk. Yeah, so it's a good point. So let's move into club side of things, Dixon, the club culture. So now I will ask you the same as I did for the family palop culture. In your eyes, for our listeners and viewers, what is Kizomba club culture? In brief, can we keep it brief?
Is it for me?
Mr. Dixon.
Oh, so again, Kizomba Club culture is what you have pretty much in every dance festival, in in pretty much every class environment, especially in the UK, is the predominant culture that we have is Kizomba club culture. Because you go to the club and obviously they play Gerozuk, they will play Tarshinha, Compa, any type of beat that is more slow jams type of vibe. But you also have Semba, and you also have, well, in the UK, for example, you won't hear Funana, you won't hear, like, not many clubs will play like Coladera, for example. You listen to a lot of Gumbe but people dance Semba to it. But again, the club culture, it's mainly the R&B, hip hop type of beats, dance hall type of beats. It's the sensualized type of beats where when we dance those dances, it's again, it's not something that you would dance with a family member. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's different, but I must say that just because it's what is in place doesn't mean that the Kizomba family culture that so many of us do teach in our classes, and we are always giving it as a guidance. Like, for example, when we explain the three dance rule, 2 dances, 3 is the bonus, and that's it. That's a family rule type of thing that it's instilled in the club culture, even in a Palop or Angolan culture, it's instilled. Now, when you're in the club, in the Kizomba event here, you may choose not to respect that rule, and you may dance an hour with a guy, but you have given a message to the guy or to the lady that thinks that there's something more there, you know. And what is supposed to be just a dance, it's just not a dance anymore, or because you decide to forfeit the culture. If you don't go to lessons with the right teachers, you will never learn that rule. So it is what it is, isn't it?
Interesting. Dixon. I can feel you're about to step into an area which we're going to cover in just a little while. So hold it there. Thank you for that, Andrea. Again, in your eyes, in brief, what is the Kizomba club culture? So we have an idea of the family kind of side of it, the family palop side. What about the club side of it? In short, what is your ideas about what the club culture is?
So the culture is obviously more dance orientated, and it's about having a good night out, and that sort of thing. So it's really difficult for me because my sort of learning and my sort of ethos, I suppose, has always been Kizomba family culture, and I can take that to a club. I'll dance 2, 3 dances with somebody. if they're starting to get a bit fresh, then I end the dance. Don't-
Dixon, get your slipper. Get your slipper, Dixon.
I'll
Auntie's
always
about to
give,
kick.
I'll always give them the opportunity to correct themselves. I'm not that mean. I'll always say yes. If somebody asks me to dance, male or female, I'll always say yes. That's not an issue. Unless I think that they're unsafe or that they've been drinking rather a lot of alcoholic beverages. But the dance, to me, the club scene is also very lights out. Um, when I was in Angola, I don't think I went anywhere where the lights were dim. The were always on. And this is, we went out to dinner one night. You had your dinner, and then there was a live band playing and people got up and danced, but the lights were always up. Club culture, it's always dark, and it seems to be the darker the better. I remember when there was this thing about blackout nights and things. I would never go to something like that, because to me that sends out the whole wrong message of what this beautiful dance is about. It's quite seedy, in my opinion. Other people, and again, like Dixon said, it's the music. The music is slower, the music. And I talk to a lot of women and they're like, oh my goodness, can they not speed the music up? Because it seems to be the same beats per minute for a long length of time. Whereas you go to, I can only say, like when I was in Angola, or even when I've been to Lisbon actually, that the music varies, the beat varies at the sort of more palop parties. It is not that one, just that, beats per minute for hours on end, where you start to get a pain in your hip because you're just standing there doing nothing. And a lot of women will say, I've come out to dance, not stand on the spot and gyrate. So to me, that's more club culture, is the slower music, the more the beat, the bass is very loud, the beat is, everyone can hear the beat. And I also think that that's probably down to people not maybe attending lessons and learning musicality, is that ghetto zouk beat is easier for them to dance to. I prefer the more sort of mixed music, a faster beat, because I don't want to do Terracini with women, thank you. But yeah, so to me, that's club culture, is the slower music, the dim lights, and people maybe not there not just to dance.
Thank you, Andrea.
You're
That's
welcome,
pretty
Gario.
comprehensive. Pretty comprehensive. What I want to say, guys, it's your dance, your opinion, your show. We love to hear from you on YouTube, on Facebook. Get your comments coming. Kathleen, Georgia, Anna, Carlita, keep them coming in. Dorothy, you've been contributing. We love it. Let's spice it up. Now, I want to, before we bring the panel, I get what you're saying, Andrea. And of course, guys, opinions. It's everyone's opinion. I quite like when the light goes down a little bit. It gives almost a more relaxed feel. For a lot of people, they don't want to be in the bright lights. A lot of people are not, out there people. Some people might not meant to be there. We don't know, but I quite like this. A dimmer light. Like if you go out for dinner and it's just creates a different atmosphere, a different vibe. I don't see too much wrong. Dixon's giving me the auntie look. Yeah. And Dixon himself, he knows we've been in similar places and he knows very well that vibe is quite alive. So it's all about opinions, guys. This is why we want you to comment and come on the show and tell us your opinions. Petronia, club culture. Andrew's given the slow beat a kind of a bash in there. That's club culture. Stick up for the club culture.
I think, well, and this is what it's going to sound like, I suppose, because I haven't come from the family culture background. I've come into Kizomba as a grown person, and I come from a Caribbean or European type culture where you're going out to dance and you're going out to a club environment. where the lights are going to be dimmed, whether it's blackout or not. I'm not saying I want it to be that dark, but you're going out there to have a dance. It may be dancehall, Tarashina type, sort of whichever culture you've come from, that sort of vibe. And it would depend on what you're going out to do, as we've talked about earlier. You might be going out to meet people. You might use that as a place where you are seeing your boyfriend, bringing your boyfriend with you, your partner or whatever, or alternatively using that environment to go and meet people that you've not met before, or to going out there to dance for as long as you possibly can, rather than as a palop culture to go and meet friends and not necessarily to dance. So you've got that sort of dichotomy, you've got those two sides that are always not in conflict, but they both exist within that night, for example. So that's in defense of that club culture, I suppose. There is a bit of a boundary that the boundaries can be blurred a little bit, dependent upon what you're going there for. But I think I can that's my sort of slight defense of the club culture. If you've not been brought up with it, as Super Dixon will have been brought up with, and Andrea, you've learnt as a youngster that this is a family culture, and you're bringing that culture within the dance scene because you're now teachers and you're promoting Kizomba. I, as a European, Caribbean, British, whatever that side of dance has come, I'm coming from a different perspective and having to embrace the culture now that I've met it, which is fine, which is great. But that's where the two will align. I don't see there being a problem with it. It depends on where you're coming from, what you're looking for. Are you going out there to have a drink and have a good time and you want to dance all night long, or a mixture of just enjoying the music and not doing that? But I think both can work. I suppose it can also depend on how you feel about the club culture yourself, whether you're a palop or in European.
Interesting.
Sorry, I'll go going on a bit.
No, it's I'm finding a few things here. Just listening to you guys, and again, please comment, please give us your opinions. It's starting to liven up in the chat window there. We're going to come to some of your comments. As I said, personally, I've been to the places I've been, even in Lisbon itself. Okay, I haven't been to Angola or Mozambique or Guinea-Bissau, São Tomé. I haven't been there, but been to Lisbon, and I've seen both sides, and I've seen locals who are probably from a palette background not having a problem with the club culture, as in the dim lights, the stuff Andrew's bashing, the one beat kind of tone. I think there is room for it, and the ones from the family culture are also embracing that side of it. From my experience, from what I've seen. Sonia, what would you say about the club side? Are you going to defend the club side?
I think I will defend the club side, because I think it depends on the music policy of the club. So there are some clubs that we go to, we know that their music policy is Semba all night, if you will. I like the comment that Andrea made about the 1 beat per minute, or the slow. I've got a phrase for that. I call it graveyard music, especially if they play it for about an hour. And there's a certain DJ who will remain nameless.
Can you name that DJ, please?
No, I won't. No, I won't. And it sometimes kills the night. I mean, my thing is Semba. I love Semba, and they'll play it for about half an hour, 40, 45 minutes, and then they'll follow it by this slow wailing women thing. Sorry, that's just my opinion. And I'd like to take Dixon up on a thing that you said about, if you're dancing with a guy for an hour, then it only means one thing. Not necessarily. There are some fantastic dancers, especially at O'Neill's, and the 3 dance policy just would not be enough because the dance is so sweet. And for me, it's all about the dance. And you can dance with me for as long as you like, as long as, no boundaries are being crossed. It's just about the music, the sound of the music, the way you're moving across the floor, the way you're moving together. That's what rocks my boat, nothing else.
Sonia, brilliant. Dixon, hold the line. Dixon, hold the line. We know you're coming in. Guys, we want to say there's no fast, hard rule. Again, you might want to dance with someone for 1 hour. It doesn't mean anything's going on. I might have known that person 12 years. Yeah, they might know my family. And I feel comfortable dancing with them. I would not like to say because a room is dark, something is going to happen. I think we need to be balanced and fair on this. And we ask again, the listening viewers, please comment, please tell us your opinion, because something like this is very important to understand. We don't want to cut off one side, shut off the other. If you want to dance for an hour, it's up to you. It doesn't mean anything's going on. Yeah. And personally, 3 dances, you're just about getting into it. Something George is just saying there. So what we will do, we will come to the comments because he's heating up, but we will give Mr. Dixon a chance to come back at Sonia because I think something's brewing here.
Sonia, I have one question for you. Would you dance 1 hour salsa with the same guy? 1 hour.
No, but that's not the culture in salsa. It's usually a one dance.
It's not the culture in Kizomba either.
I was about to say that because when I first started learning, we got taught about the men in their suits and the women dressed in their finery and the heat. You'd only dance one dance, go sit down.
Well, I'm just honestly, it's very important. A lot of people in the comments are saying this, and I want you guys to understand that anyone who wants to dance 1 hour or whatever hours they desire, it's none of my business. It's absolutely none of my business. But I had so many students in the course of my dance career, professional dance career. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of ladies, for example, come to me. Why these guys always ask my number? What's going on? And I was like, are you dancing 1 hour? Yeah. Then maybe that's why. I'm not saying that every guy or every lady will try to take it as a derogatory way. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? What I'm saying is this cultural things that we need to teach the students in order to give them awareness. What they do in the club as adults, as fully grown adults, which have their own boundaries and consents, it's up to them. I would like to say that it's up to them to deal with the consequences also. But as a teacher, for example, and as a member of Safer Dance Spaces, I'm there to save the day. As a Superman doesn't have to, but I'm there to save the day, to make sure that, yeah, it was just a dance. Do you know what I mean? Taking into account that there's a lot of people that disrespect Kizomba culture by not learning the lessons, by not even partaking in nothing, not wanting to care about the culture, which again, that's fine. They come to the club with a different intention. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you can dance with someone that you feel comfortable with and you're happy to dance 1 hour and you're happy high 10 and everybody goes each way. Perfect. No harm is done. But you need to remember that there's always people in the club with different intentions. Like they mentioned in the comments, each to its own, right? I'm just giving you the tools, the cultural tools. You choose to do it. You choose not to do it. You understand? You understand where I'm coming from? I'm not here to police nobody. It just is what it is. But I personally think that you can dance 3 songs with a person, and like you do in salsa, you can go back to that person later on and dance a few more bunch of them. You know, I'm just making sure that from one perspective of again, not just, and this is not just family culture. This is actually in the club culture. This is what we teach, what we're taught by the parents. You know, it's the same thing if you're gonna say we're rubber dub or lovers rock. I'm sure your mama told you not to do certain things. You know, don't do this, don't do this, and there's a reason why they're telling you not to do that. Makes sense. What you're gonna choose, you're an adult. You choose to do what you desire. I'm not gonna judge. You know, it's not my place to do so.
Yeah,
But in the other hand, like I said, the lights, I do not vouch for super dark lights. Do you know what I mean? In fact, if I have a chance to say, when I'm in an event or a festival, for example, especially when we're playing a good samba, a good high rotational samba as it should be, not the cadence samba, you know, I would say put the lights a bit higher so that people can see what they're doing. If they play Ghetto Zouk, dim the lights, get the mood to how it should be, you know? But again, we're not here to judge nobody, but if we're teaching you these rules, it's obviously there's always people with different intention, and that's why it's something to consider if you don't know the person. Make sense?
Dixon, brilliant. But Sonia is not agreeing with you, and this is it is now club versus family. Sonia, did you
I
want to
just want
finish
to
off?
be sure that one
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
Sonia, I just want to make sure you guys understand. I'm from the generation that club culture. I was very young when those beats, when the Tarashinya beats start to come up with all the Zouk love and all that. And we didn't care about dancing samba in the club.
But you're a grown man now, yeah?
I love it still. I
Uh,
love Tarashinya. Listen, I love Tarashinya to dance on my own or to enjoy the music with my friends because Tarashinya is not slow like everybody thinks it is. Tarashinya is actually on 100 beats per minute. It's supposed to be a fast dance. We just choose to slow it to dance slow. And that's why a lot of urban kids, a lot of people dance Kizomba or Samba to urban kids because it's, or invent with the hip hop moves or whatever, robotic moves, because it's their interpretation of Tarashinya. There's so many songs that you would play in the club, ghetto zouk tracks that are supposed to be fast, but it's not for us to dance with a lady. It's just for us to enjoy.
Guys, we've got to
If
move
anyone
on.
wants to
Sonia,
dance.
quickly.
Go,
yeah,
go,
yeah.
go.
No, just one other comment. I suppose it's more of a downside. So while guys are dancing 10 dances or whatever with each other, of course, I'm always conscious that there are women who never get asked to dance. And so it just would be nice to see the love and the dance spread out amongst the women that never get asked to dance.
Guys, you've heard it here from our panel member, Sonia. Be nice. Ask these other women to dance. We're going to go to the comments right now. Georgia says, dancing in bright lights would be strange. I happen to agree with you, Georgia. It's not, I think with performances at a festival or at a kind of mini fest night, I think lights on, Semba show, fine. But I think it's also a bit strange when you're trying to set a nice ambiance, unless you're on the beach, perhaps in a club, it has to be dimly lit to achieve the mood and match the music. Now, I agree. Maybe with Semba, we can turn up the lights. People are, if they're doing Semba shows, showing off, is, you know. But I'm with Georgia. I'm sure our panel members are with Georgia. Kathleen says, I will respect the culture. Like dim lights, a bit like PNS have said, and I'll take that as Petroni and Sonia. I grew up in a lover's rock culture, so try to be flexible. Love compa, all about the music and beautiful dancing. So what Kathleen's saying, she's flexible. She's flexible. She's grown up in lover's rock, like we have, the Jamaicans and Caribenos. Look, we know we like the dim lights, we like rubber dub. Dixon likes to say rubber dub, but we're flexible. Thank you, Kathleen. Carlita, what was your question again, please? Carlita, listen to the show, darling. Anna, lights make people uncomfortable when they don't know how to dance, and also makes the environment really warm sometimes. There's a number of reasons why bright lights don't work. In my opinion, it does create heat. Not everyone's confident. Not everyone wants to show off. Not everyone wants to be seen. There's a number of reasons. For me, it's a mood thing. When the lights go down, it's just like, it's like you're putting no slippers on. Ladies, you take that bra off after a long day. It's relaxed, So I'm one for the dim lights. The blackout, I'm not so sure. I don't have a problem with it, but I think that might be going too far. Anna says, again, the lights make people uncomfortable, Georgia, depends on the venue and the DJ. We know what to expect from each of them. Now, Sonia, she's right. You know what to expect. Free dances, she doesn't agree with that because I'm guessing you're just getting that connection going and you have to stop. It's not for me either, unless I'm dancing with someone that is, let's say, a faster dance. Maybe we do it free. Slower dance, you want to build a connection. Anna's saying it's all about connection. Georgia says, plus we're in the UK. It's different here than Angola, etc. It's true. So we're in the UK and we're going to come to that, Georgia. Good point. Anna, if you feel the connection on the dance floor is a pleasure to carry on dancing. I'm guessing she's mean more than one dance. You can't dance salsa 1 hour in a row. We know that. I've got friends like Anna. We could dance all night. It's not a problem for us. It doesn't mean anything. It might do, but it doesn't have to mean anything. So we need to just be aware and be balanced. It's like if someone says hello, it doesn't mean they're going to give you their number. So, a lot of women say these things. So let's translate that into the dance as well. Why can't you dance 5 hours with someone? It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So that's my view. Keep your comments coming.
I would say get a room.
Get a room. I think Andrew agrees with that. And George is coming. Another one. Awareness is helpful. We're all fully grown. And if the music and vibe is working, I'm not going anywhere. I agree with you, Georgia. We can do what we want. And Auntie can't stop us. Yeah. We're all adults. If people are naughty, there is nothing to do with the dance, but their intentions when they go to the club. Yes. Very true. We have a lot of people that go for the wrong intentions. And there's nothing we can do about that, guys. They pay their 10, 12 pounds and they will do what they want. So let's look at this. Is it a European phenomenon, club culture? Andrea, can you answer that? Is it a European phenomenon? Is it a European thing? Or is there club culture within the Palop nation?
I would say that no, it's not a European thing. It's not a English, British. I don't know where you're particularly aiming at. I know that the people that I talk to who came from the Palop countries will say that they'd go into Lisbon at night, go to parties, the club scene. That's where they learnt to dance. That's because they didn't have lessons like we formally have lessons. There'd be somebody within the group who could dance well. They'd show someone how to do a move, and then they'd pick it up and somebody would elaborate on it and what have you. They would apparently, I don't know how true this is, but if they were playing the faster songs, the lights would be up, and then they'd warn everybody that Tarashini was coming on, and they'd dim the lights down. So there was a difference. I get why people, and Gary and I will never agree on music because we just never will. I also disagree with you that actually saying people are adults and they will do what they will and we can't stop them. We can't be having that culture within the Kizomba dance scene. We need to be vigilant for those people who newbies who come along who don't necessarily know the culture, don't understand the culture. It's down to instructors, organisers, and promoters to be aware of what's happening in the room. And I only the other week I said to somebody, "Are you okay?" And they gave me a thumbs up. So we have to be mindful that some people don't understand that if they dance with somebody for more than 3 dances, the guy's going to take that as maybe an invitation for something else. You can't just sort of do a blanket statement that, oh, well, we're adults. we are all adults, but we also need to be aware of those people who are new to the scene and don't understand the culture. You've got to be really careful what you're saying. My face will explode in a minute, I think. But back to the club scene, I think that, yeah, it's not just a Europe. Yes, it is a European thing. We've taken a dance out of, like any country, salsa, things like that, where it's taken out of the country of origin. It's molded to the country where it ends up. Whether that's a good thing or not, I'm not 100% sure. I have to say, when I was in Angola and I danced at Kizomba Narua on the Marginal, I danced in clubs and I never once had a grindy dance. Come back to the UK, grindy dances. And I just think that's such a shame.
Okay, again, guys, let's talk Kizomba. It's about your opinion. It's about your view. It's about your concerns. This is why we're here. We want to take these things to our organisers. And good points made by Andrea. We've used statements like everyone's adults. And I think everyone's adults, because if you went into a nightclub or a bar or wherever you go, you know, someone could say to you, oh, be careful where you put your drink down or whatever, but everyone's an adult. Yeah. What this highlights and shines out to me is that maybe we need the Kizomba police back. Maybe we need the Kizomba royal family to kind of guide everyone that comes into the scene, because what I'm seeing is a lot of people not taking lessons, right? Carlita said she's not taken one lesson. Carlita said, I've not taken one lesson. Yeah. There's so many people coming into the scene. And again, it's about your intentions. Some people want to dance. Some people want to drink and a dance. Some people want to learn. Some don't. I don't want to do lessons. I don't want to know the history. I'm sorry. I like the music. That's it. Yeah. So what we can't do, we can't stop people thinking and having their own intentions. We could never stop you, Andrea, loving Samba, loving the fast beat. We could never stop you. So we shouldn't really be stopping people that just want to come to listen to music and do what they're doing. It's not something we like to see, but we can't make people do lessons. And to be honest, if we did, we would half our customer base. And I'm being honest here. Yeah. We had Nomad back in the day, great place, unbelievable music, unbelievable dancers, teachers, everything. It's closed, right? It's closed. Why? Why should that be closed when they're providing everything we need from the culture? It's closed. So it's just showing you everyone's an adult. We can't tie people down, unfortunately. And you made some good points. For new people coming in, they don't know what they're coming into. We have to protect and guide them and make sure they're on the right path. But again, I know you don't like that statement, Andrea, but some of us have to defend that and say we are adults and we can say no. And when they think there's policies in place, there's platforms, there's safer dance space, which Dixon is part of. There are things in place, there's infrastructure in place to deal with this. But at the end of the day, we are all adults, and policies is dodgy ground. People want to come out and enjoy themselves. We know half the customer base just want to enjoy themselves. They don't want to be told what to do. They get told what to do at work from family, wives, husbands, parents. They just want to come and dance. So we need to be balanced. Sonia, I'm going to bring you in on this. Is it a Western phenomenon? Is it a Western thing? This club culture? Do you believe that?
I'm not sure that I'm qualified to answer because I've only really ever danced in the UK. Yes, I've been to a few festivals. But maybe it is because whenever there's a dance that originates in a different country, it is always changed. I mean, I'd go as far to say the dance gets bastardized, basically. It happens with salsa, Cuban salsa, and it's happened with Kizomba. When I first learnt to dance, and I was telling my friends, "Oh, I'm learning this beautiful dance. Where can I see it?" "Oh, go on YouTube." And they go on YouTube, and all they see is these skinny girls winding their asses, and that's not the dance at all. But that's predominantly what you see. Yeah.
Interesting. And yes, it's not a true reflection of what it is, but again, some of this is open the market to get more customers. Would we survive without this side of it, with these different customers? In general, in the countries they survive, maybe not locally here, but of course they will always survive where the culture is. I want to go to some messages here. Dorothy, she's backing you, Dixon. She knows where you're coming from. We judge each other all the time. We have perceptions. So if you don't mind being tagged, a couple or a potential couple, or into each other, then simply adhere to the signal. Dance you're free and come back. It's like a drug. I don't know where Dorothy's going here. Let's just respect some rules. Should there be rules in this? Yes, I think there should be. But what kind of rules? I don't know. Carlita says, my concern is why have the DJs not updated their music lists? Carlita, maybe we'll get a DJ on one day, but it's kind of true. It is kind of true. A lot of the DJs are playing uncle music, like we say, but if it's good uncle music, no, you're right. You're right. You've got a point. Dorothy says, I am afraid I loved grindy dance. Good for you, Dorothy. Many of us, especially our panel, they love grinding, even Sonia. Yeah. I like to whine, and the music gives me the chance to do so. Again, we know Andrea doesn't like this, but Dorothy does. Dorothy likes it. Andrea, you're going to have to take it up with Dorothy. But she likes it. She likes to grind.
Gario, I'm not saying I don't like it. I don't like dancing the slower dances for over an hour, or when the music is, because you can have Kizomba slow, but you can ramp it up a bit, not like huge amounts, but it's that just constant same burp beat. You're like, come on. And I agree with Carlita. There is so much good music out there. To hear the same songs every week. What was it Sonia called it? Graveyard music.
Sonia, that is DJs. If you're listening, Sonia's calling it graveyard music. Right, guys. I mean, look, there's some really good points, and we love your comments. It's inspiring us to argue. It's good. No, but seriously, but we've, on the other hand, we've heard Semba being played for an hour. Now, this is the other side of the coin. Semba playing for an hour. Who wants that? What do you think, guys? Send us your comments. Anna's saying, I love Semba, but the reality is the majority of people don't dance it well, or for a long time they get tired. This is the problem. Who can dance Semba? It's a question. It's a reality. Yeah. Well done, Anna. Good point. Dixon's going to be coming to us on that in a minute. Every single human being, men or women, need to establish boundaries dancing or in every particular aspect of your personal life. Anna's right. As I said, if you went to a bar, you have to be an adult. You know what's going to happen, or you don't know. You just have to deal with it. Carly is still moaning. It's not good uncle music. It's true, Carly. The uncle music is not good. Anna again. It's not because the organizer will be doing police on the door, dance floor. Things will change. They will only lose clients. Yeah, you're right. And we need to keep clients. Kizomba is at a crossroads in London and UK. We need to be careful. Georgia, dancing Semba in 4-inch heels for hours is hard. Need some slow tunes. I'm with you, Georgia. I think Semba for 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes is fine. I don't think an hour is viable. People are sweating, they're hot, they're bumping into each other, they're showing off. People wearing heels and anyway.
You don't
Thank you
have
for
to
your
wear
comments.
heels, Gario. If you don't like heels, you don't have to wear them.
But people do. So It's
No,
not for
you
me. I don't wear heels.
personally. I wear
I
flats the whole time. I wear
That's you,
flats.
Andrea. Many wear heels, and they may
Well,
complain.
that's their
This is what
choice.
the show's
They're
about.
adult.
The
They're
show's,
adults.
yeah, the show's about opinions, guys.
Yeah.
Andrea,
And sorry,
sorry, Sonia. Yeah, go
yeah,
on.
no, also you generally know what the music policy of a particular club. So, if you know that you're going to hear an hour's worth of Semba, you'll gravitate towards that particular club. But I like a mixture. I do like a mixture. But what I hate is when they only play about 15 minutes Semba and then they put on the graveyard music, and then they usually play that for longer than they play the Semba.
Sonia, go to the club that plays Simba, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right, guys, we want to move into this last section. Petronia,
I
again.
was going to say just very quickly on that. I think a good DJ who will read the room will know that if they're playing 20 minutes of this Semba and then they'll slowly ramp it up to, slowly slow it down to a middle tempo with excellent music. It doesn't all have to go down to graveyard. There's a quite a descent and an ascent, and you can really get the people moving in that way. It could be old music, it can be good new music. I think it's also led by the DJ who is reading the room, so that they'll know how to encourage people to dance or not dance. If you're ready to relax because you've had your half an hour of Semba, it doesn't have to go down to graveyard. It can be just a nice tempo. You've got time to relax. And as Andrew and everyone has said, there is such a lot of good music out there that you can listen to all of that. And maybe some DJs aren't doing that great a job in that respect. Controversial, I know. As Sonia said, if you know you like Semba and you gravitate towards a particular club that does Semba for an hour, then yes, you'll go there. But as we said, not everyone likes that. You really want an ebb and a flow so that it's not just one tempo all the time. That's what I think.
Well,
sorry, you can ask another question. Sorry, I just slipped in there with that.
No. I think that was it. It was kind of this. But while we're on the subject, it's I believe it's a balance. Back in the day, we had a nice balance: 20 minutes this, 20 minutes that, 20 minutes the other. There's your 60 minutes. And in defense of the Ghetto Zuki Tarishinya, really, in the last few years, not much of it's been played. In my eyes, I think they've kind of brought some slight variations, more electronic. But what we know is Ghetto Zouk, and it hasn't been played that much, in my eyes, in the last few years. I think there's been a push for Semba, if I'm not wrong, a push for the faster tracks. So I think it unnecessarily takes a bashing. But I think when it worked in the old days, when I say the old days, a few years back, it was a good mix. You had majority, like, the three main genres, and it was rotated and it worked very well. The nights were busy. Times are changing, but again, DJs, if you're listening, update your playlists. I don't think it applies to all of them, just some of them. So guys, again, we go back to the comments. We want you to answer on this. George is saying on Fridays they play every 30-40 minutes, they change it and switch it up. Good. Dorothy loves the graveyard. It's good, Dorothy. I'm glad you're supporting it. Keep on one side. It's good. Yeah. George is saying a good DJ will read the room, of course. And Anna finally saying, in Portugal, the graveyard music starts 1 hour before the venue closes, and that's when the lights go off. So everyone is educated what that means. Time to call an Uber, or as Dixon says, get a room. Guys, quickly, we need to move on. Time is short. I want to ask the panel and the hosts, can the Kizomba family palop culture be entwined with the club culture? Can it be entwined? Can they work hand in glove, work together, or does it kind of have to be separate? Or should the family palop culture be definitely part of the club culture? Mr. Dixon, tell us.
Right. So I want to be clear, because you made the question about it's a European thing. It's not a European thing.
No, no, no. I asked.
We
I asked. Yeah,
no, I'm saying, but I didn't said I didn't spoke about it. So I just
yeah,
want to give
yeah.
my
Go ahead.
quick short take about it. It's very important that people understand that the club culture. I mean, the Africans. I mean, coming to if I go back in time, you know, the only reason that Kizomba became a night thing, back in the colonization times, is because there was a curfew. So nobody was allowed to be out at night. So what we would do, everybody would go to Andrea's house to eat food. We go into Andrea's house and everybody would stay for the night, partying at night. At that time, you could say it's still a bit of a, like, again, family culture type of thing. But with the times, obviously the youngsters, let's do our own party. You know what I mean? And after the independence days and whatnot, I mean, and I can say that obviously not just in Africa, but also in Portugal, you know, um, the version of the Winston, what's it called? Is it it's not the Winston, it's the, when the Jamaicans came to the UK, for example, we had that in Portugal.
Windrush. Windrush. Windrush.
Inrush.
Yeah.
Windrush, yeah. So we had that version of the Windrush in Portugal. Do you know what I mean? When obviously more Africans move to Portugal, you still have the family culture and still, but because in a lot of people don't even understand that even in Portugal, when you were doing the parties, the first Kizomba parties, it was underground. It was not legal, let's say. Do you know what I mean? It was something that it's like um it's this is the part that everybody will go crazy. That's why Kizomba is urban. Kizomba is urban dance because it was underground. We would do it in the clubs. We would hire the club. Nobody would know. Don't tell the police. We're gonna do our party here. Do you know what I mean? And that evolved into what is Kizomba culture. Do you know what I mean? Where when it became
Club culture.
more,
Club culture.
yeah, Kizomba, yeah, where it's not just based on the rules of we're at my house and we're here to have fun. We're not here to hook up. But when they created the club, and everybody knows also that the club has, as normally, is a dark tone for it. That's why it became part of the culture to have the dim lights thing. Do you know what I mean? So again, it's not a European thing, but the thing is, taking into Portugal, it wasn't Kizomba, it wasn't samba music that the people were listening. It wasn't samba. We call it Kizomba all the time and whatnot, but it wasn't samba that was popular in Portugal. So if I transport it to Portugal, or even in Mozambique or Cape Verde, they're from a different country. You're not listening to Angolan. We can listen to Angolan music in a house party, but it's not the music that everybody was listening. It was more the slow down type of BPM, because the real samba that the Angolans play is a fast tempo samba, like fast, like Afro house. So I make the question: if you think you can dance 130 beats per minute for an hour, I guarantee you that I wouldn't. I grew up with Angolans. If I was in the club, if they're playing 1 hour Kizomba, I'll go get a drink. A samba, sorry, I would get it. They would never do that. They would never do that. But they also would never play 10,000 hours of grinding music, of slow paced music or graveyard music, like you're calling it. You know what I mean? Like a DJ need to know how to go in a small tempo, push it up, and push it up real good. That's why a lot of good DJs, when they have the samba on the high note, they drop the Afro house or the kuduro, to everybody to party, and then after after a good time of fast paced tempo, let's slow down.
The
Let's
sirens
slow
go.
down, just so for us to chill, you know, chill. Who wants to chill, chills. Who doesn't want to chill? Or in this case, dance a romantic song. They don't dance. You know what I mean? But I personally think that this is the thing where it's not a European thing, but whether I want it or not, the formula that the Palops used in Portugal is the formula that is being used in Europe and all over the world. Do you know what I mean?
Can I
So
quickly come in there? Because Petronia,
go for it.
do you
Go
remember
for it.
when we went to Lisbon and we went
Yeah.
to that club Belize?
Yeah. Ah,
Didn't they
Belize.
kill us with December? They must have played that for a good hour. It was amazing.
it was
Absolutely
amazing. But maybe it was because we were in a different environment. I was so blown away by the whole country. It was great.
Yeah.
So maybe I made allowances for it. It was a long time, but maybe I made allowances for it. I know you loved it, Sonia, and I did, but it
Yeah.
was a long time, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I must just say, and in the same way that you're saying, ladies, I personally agree, and I've been saying this for many years. I personally agree that, for example, on a Saturday night, for example, in a festival, which is alienated a lot, bastardized a lot in playing, they just want us to play slow music for the salsa and bachata people. Do you know what I mean? And I keep saying when it reaches a apex of the night, they should run a whole hour of kizomba, of semba. They can do it with a bit of a semba, slow semba, but that BPM needs to hit the high note. Do you know what I mean? At least for 1 hour, but it's 1 hour out of the whole thing, not the whole event. You know, I've been in events where they're playing semba the whole time, and it's like, what's wrong with you? Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's not, it's like not everybody here is Angolan. And if you are in the UK, how many Angolans are in the room? Do you know how many Angolans actually even dance semba proper? Some of them are just waiting for you to slow down the BPM. For what?
Exactly. I agree. I agree. And this is the thing. This is it. Dixon, very good point. I 100% agree
But
with you.
I do agree with you, ladies. A good part of the night and the high night, the high point of the night, where the DJ should know already. He should take you to that moment where everybody will have a good hour of proper. There's no middle term. It needs to, when I say proper, is not filho do Zua, you know, it's not the banca jazz, 100 beats per minute. That's social. That's kizomba. That's cadence. What you call cadence kizomba or whatever, or cadence samba. Sorry, you know, because I grew up with a proper samba, 130 beats per minute, 120 to 130 beats per minute. That's as fast as merengue, fast as funana, soca, even disco music for 1 hour dancing that. Okay, if that's what you like, there's events for that. And you should be finding those events. But personally, for me, I think the DJ needs to play a good combo. It needs to be measured. Do you know what I mean? And I also agree with what the people in the chat were saying about having a good update on their music, because some DJs are still playing songs that I was not even alive. Do you know what I mean? I grew up with them, but it's like, dude, serious?
Dixon, thank
There's so
you.
many good music. Yeah, that's it.
Thank
That's my
you.
take on it.
I think that's very interesting. Some of the things you said. We've only got about 7-10 minutes left, guys. We really got to start ramping down now. The chat, Anna's saying try Funana. Yeah, we know. Yeah, if you some of us are getting old now. I don't know about this. It's slow tracks for me. I do remember being 15 years old and going to matinees on Sundays in the normal disco clubs, and there was slow dances, American love songs. Come on, it's not about Kizomba. Anna, good opinion, good opinion. But guys, as we're saying, whenever I've been to Bileza, it's been a really good balance. It's interesting that you guys experience 1 hour of Semba. The times I've been, I haven't, and the feedback I get from other people that are from there, or especially the ones that leave from here and visit, they don't like Bileza. They say, I don't like Bileza. It's just that music and that. So it's interesting. You got an hour of Semba. Very interesting. And this is why we need to listen to others, engage both sides of the stories. Anyway, hello, Elaine. She said she's just joined from Lisbon. Tell us what you're doing in Lisbon, Elaine. We would like to know what you're doing, and I hope you're well. Back to my question, guys. We've only got just a few minutes left. Petronia, I want you to be very quick, be brief. Can the family Palop culture be entwined with the culture club? Keep it brief.
Well, yes, yeah, for sure. I think so. I mean, with my limited knowledge of that, I don't count myself as an aficionado, but the little I know of it, I feel you can incorporate both. You have to be respectful on both sides, as we've said before. And yes, some people will interpret it in different ways, but I think they can marry along quite well. In regards to everything that we've said so far, we're all adults, and it's helpful if you don't come from that culture to be able to know something of that culture and incorporate the knowledge that you do or you don't have. Use the both. I think it can work. But then, as I said, everyone's interpretation may be a bit different. But yeah, I think there's a
Sonia,
place for both.
Petronia said it can work. What about you?
I think so, but I think for me, you need to be a bit more specific. What are we taking from the Kizomba family and marrying with the club culture?
Well, it's a thing of, I don't think you can take everything. I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I don't think you can take the whole culture and dump it in with the club culture. But we're looking for parts of it, yeah, certain components that we could incorporate. Like, I believe you should take lessons. Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, that's not a family culture thing per se, but it's something coming from there where you should incorporate in a club culture. Lessons, at least everyone can dance. If everyone can dance, that is something good. You don't want to be in a place where people are doing salsa moves, breaking people's arms. Remember that? Do you remember the Hat Man from O'Neill's? Andrew, remember the Hat Man, maybe? Yeah, who was really dangerous. And he seemed to take a liking to one of our teachers, Rashida. But we should incorporate something like lessons. For sure, that should be part of it. Maybe, I don't know, try something like women have to wait for the men to ask. I don't know. What do
Okay.
what's your view?
Well, I think I agree with your, now that you've been a bit more specific. Yeah. Women being asked to dance by the men and not the other way around, maybe.
Yeah. Any others? Any other components?
The 3 dance rule, if there's such a thing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I mean, as I said, time is short now. It's really short. We're going to start closing down now, but it looks like there are parts that we can bring in. And my personal view is those at the top of the tree should be doing more. So these teachers that are from the PALOP countries, are they doing enough? I would suggest maybe not. Maybe they're doing their lessons and going home. Of course, we all have our lives and we all have things to do, but they are the ones in the know. Surely they need to start, trying to push out this knowledge, trying to bring people along, sweeping them along. We don't need to call names, but some of these, the PALOP teachers that are PALOP, I know Dixon does a lot out there. Andrea's always trying to guide people in the right way, whether you like it or not. This is how we're doing it, and this is, at least learn this and learn it this way. Afterwards, we can't control it, but so I believe that the teachers and organizers of a PALOP origin should be doing a lot more to impart this knowledge. And we know many have been forced into just making money because it's their full-time jobs. They need to survive, we all understand, but this is where it's probably falling down. So again, we just need to look at that. Just before we finish off and go round, Dorothy's saying dance is evolving. We must try to embrace the change. However, certain fundamental rules must be preserved. Exactly what I was just saying. Thank you. Elaine's in Lisbon, everyone. She's resting, then going to Marangale. Where else? Enjoy, Elaine. George is saying, oh my God, he's asked me to dance many times. He was dangerous. And we're talking about the Hat Man. We need people to do lessons at the very least. Yeah, Hat Man, She wanted to clarify, I just couldn't. I felt like it would do some serious damage. I'm never going to intentionally put myself in that situation. And my view is, again, we can take at least lessons and maybe men asking women to dance, but with a fragile line, we're living in a fragile world at the moment. Guys may not feel they don't want to harass women. She says no once, and then what happens is harassment if you ask her again. So it's a fine line, something for another show. And in part two, we'll look at maybe stuff like the sexualization of the dance as it's moved over to the club side of things. So yeah, it's time now to close down. We'll just go around. Sonia, is there anything in brief you would like to say about tonight's show, about subject, about the topic?
We're out of time now, unfortunately. I just wanted to not challenge you, but you mentioned about Kizomba being at a crossroads, but you didn't say why you thought that was the case. And I think that was something that we could have explored. I
And
don't
we can do that.
think it's
We can do
because
that.
we're losing dancers. I think it's because there's just too many venues on the same night, too many events on the same night.
Again, one for another show. And of course, it's not dying in the Palop countries, as far as I'm aware. There may be, there may be not, but we kind of around us, we can see a dip. Petronia, in closing, what is your summary?
Yeah, good subject matter. I think, yes, we can explore more on the aspects that you said, but we've delved quite deeply into this particular subject, which is all good. There's more to explore, I feel. Yeah. The differences of opinion come through, and that speaks volumes in terms of where people are thinking, where the culture and the club culture and the family culture can mix. That's all I have to say, really. There's just more to
Okay.
explore. It's a wider
Yep.
subject.
And we'll have other shows on that. And just before we finish off with the hosts, guys, Let's Talk Kizomba. We know we have it on Facebook. It's a Facebook group, Let's Talk Kizomba. Fan page, Let's Talk Kizomba. Instagram, Let's Talk Kizomba. And YouTube /@ Let's Talk Kizomba. And we'll go to our host to finish off the show. It's been a great show. Mr. Dixon, in a quick summary, tell us about this topic and where we need to go from here on.
Well, like I said, I think this topic is a great topic to discuss. I think everybody brought different points and different perspectives where they come from. You know, what I mean, I obviously, like I said, I think it's important that it's like if you want to take into your classes, or if you are adamant that you believe that Kizomba is a family dance, you know, what I mean, those values should be included in your event. If you do not want nothing to do with the culture, that's why I put the question. There's lots of teachers and Palop teachers as well. You know, I could say even teachers that come from the country. You know what I mean? From Angola, for example. Some of them, they don't care about the culture. They're just there to teach you how to dance, and they want a good party where everybody can have fun. You know, again, each to his own. But I think it's very important um, that they both go hand in hand. And I think it's important that the students, it's not that we bash them with the family culture, but we give them the tools from the family culture in order for them to have a good time in the club when we do the parties, if it makes sense. Because in the end, the goal of this is for everyone to have fun. You know what I mean? Everybody to have a good time. And I think for professionals like me and even Andrea, you know what I mean? We want to create a good environment, a good vibe, you know what I mean? With whatever music we want to infuse, if it makes sense. But personally, I think you when we teach you dance, or in this case, when we teach you about Kizomba, it's not just dance. It's again, it's a lot of things. It's like it's food, it's music, uh, is gathering, you know, family, alcohol. It is all part of the culture. Do you know what I mean? So I do think it's important that they walk more hand in hand, and that doesn't happen at all for reasons that we will disclose maybe in another show. Because to be honest, the club culture, in my perspective, is actually damaged Kizomba culture than actually helped. But that's my personal take on it.
Wonderful.
And
That's really good.
just to be clear, I love the club vibe. I love the club vibe. But I know the rules. Not everybody knows the rules. That's my final take for tonight.
Thank you, Super Dixon. And I'm sure in another show, part 2, we'll hear the rules. Now, I'd like to say thank you to the listeners and the viewers, Elaine, Georgia, Kathleen, Anna, Dorothy, Carlita. Thank you all for the silent listeners and the silent viewers. Well, thank you for supporting us on this show. And we're going to hand over to the host, Andrea, for the final say. Andrea, your take on today's topic.
I think it's been a really interesting topic, and interesting to get people's views. I do hear a lot of people's views, obviously, when I'm out and about. And that's the other thing that we haven't. So there's a couple of things we haven't looked at. What Kizomba, the music, I put it in the chat earlier on, that when people came over here or to Europe after when they fled Angola because of the revolution, and I'm only talking about Angola here, the music reminded them of home. A lot of the earlier songs were about the struggles, about remembering home, remembering Angola, remembering the people that they'd left behind. So we have to respect that actually it means a lot to the Palop community, the Angolans who had to literally leave with nothing. And that, this means a lot to them in their hearts. And we have to respect that and we have to remember that. And one thing somebody was saying about salsa, actually the Cubans were in Angola for a while. So there are some Cuban salsa moves in Semba, mainly in Kizomba. So you can hear it in the music. You can hear that Cuban beat in the music. But that's enough of me being a dance nerd. I like to research what I do. But thank you everybody who has partaken tonight, who's left their comments, who's said some thought-provoking things in there, and we have to mull over them and read over them. We have a bit of a little catch-up after we finish tonight, and then we decide, what the next show's going to be. So thank you again, and hopefully see you all in a couple of weeks' time with another topic.
I think it's important to rewatch the shows, to keep watching, keep sharing, subscribing the page, and let's have this Kizomba Talks keep going because Andrea, you're already sparkling the next topic just without knowing. Because I could respond already. But let's wait for the next one. Thank you everybody for joining in. Your comments and I hope more of this. Gario, do you want to close up?
Just to say, we're back in 2 weeks, guys. All being well, we'll hopefully have Winston back on the panel.
Press the wrong button. Don't trust me with electronics.